Hey John, how are you?
Diego, what's up, man? How are you?
Doing good, doing good. John, so you've been with us for a little while, and I would love to see where were you when you first joined FI Investors, when you joined the community, and where you are now.
Yeah, man, that's an awesome question. Looking back, I'm like, I was somebody that was just started, had just gotten approved for a pre-approval with the FHA loan, and I was on the hunt looking for my first property, and relying on bigger pockets, and really that was the community that I had. It wasn't really scale of detail to me, so did feel a little lonely because none of my friends or family really was in the real estate space. But then I came across your story, and I'm like, holy crap, this guy is doing really cool things. And at that time, in the bigger pockets, they say find a mentor, find a community that you could learn from and share your story with and communicate and network, right? They say network is your net worth for a reason. And when I found your community, I found heard about your story. I was like, all right, I think that's the group I want to communicate. I want to join. That's the guys I want to have in my circle. And so I made the commitment.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So then you got your pre-approval. How was the process of you then closing on your property? Did you
Yeah,
house hack it or what did you do?
yeah, man. That the process on that was I made sure I used that FHA to the max potential, meaning I got myself a fourplex, right? I continuously kept hearing people in the community, in podcasts, they all said, "Man, I wish I didn't get a single family home. I wish I got a threeplex, fourplex." And I was like, "Uh-huh, all right, cool, fourplex it is." That's because after the fourplex, you get five and plus, it becomes commercial. And so I was like, "All right, let me make the most out of this pre-approval. Let me make the most out of my $25, 25,000 down payment on the maximum rentals that I could get." And so that's exactly what I did, man. I found a investor friendly realtor, investor friendly lender, and they knew what I was trying to do. They were familiar with the house hack. They were familiar with bigger pockets. So everybody that I was working with was more or less had that mindset already.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, and it goes to show like the importance of the team too. So, yeah. And by being part of FI Investors too, just as you heard in the beginning, like the power of like not only just getting a single family home, but going into the quadplex and everything. How else has the community helped you?
Yeah, man. So, right now in this competitive market, you're gonna continue to get outbid. You're gonna
Hmm.
find a lot if you're cold calling or you're going direct to seller, you're gonna get the phone hung up on you. No one's gonna communicate with you, but you continue to go to communicate to your community, right? And you're networking, meet other people that are getting creative within their markets, what other strategies they're using, right? And so like that has helped me think outside my box and look at other strategies of acquiring properties, of getting creative, of getting in front uh, of sellers, getting communicating better with realtors, with the lenders, finding other ways of getting loan products, and
Hmm.
getting a better understanding of like a bigger picture of real estate, because real estate is not just one path. I realize there's multiple
Hmm.
paths, and I always feel like whenever I come to the calls, it's a way for me to recharge my batteries. And
Hmm.
if I had a tough week, or I got a bunch of no's, I go back, I go into the community, I go on the calls, and I'm like, all right, cool, batteries recharged, let's go back at it again, not take
Yeah.
any no's.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know I have to tell you that you are out of like everybody that we have in the community and everything, one thing that I like about you is that you always ask questions. Like you're probably the one that you have at least like three or four questions every single call, which is awesome because it's questions that other people have, right? And that's why they may not answer it or they're like, oh, I think I should ask this, but then you just, I mean, like I should ask this, but then you come and you ask those questions. So that's really good, and that goes like the power of the mastermind at the end of the day when you're on those calls, you go deep on the conversations, and you're always asking all of the guest speakers that we have, like me, like different strategies and all of that stuff. Now I know that on the path to financial independence too, right? That's what we call it, the FI investors. One of the things that we've also talked about, and that I see you doing a lot and implementing, is also a little bit of the credit hacking, the travel hacking, like leveraging OPM even with credit cards to be able to continue growing, um, not only your portfolio but just your life as a whole. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, man. Another part of the of real estate that I realized is you will need to use OPM, other people's money, and that's either private money lenders, family members,
Mhm.
friends, coworkers, and banks and credit cards, right? So I, through real estate, got into the whole credit card world as well. I just stumbled on it, and I'm like, whoa, there's a lot of opportunities, a lot of leverage, right? Real estate is a lot about leverage, and so I was doing fix and flips, and I realized that okay, there's a lot of sign up bonuses with American Express, Chase, just to name a few. And I'm like, all right, to do rehabs, you need money to fix up these properties. So what I did was I leveraged these business credit cards that had 0% interest for the first 12 months up to 18 months, and so that gave me enough time to leverage those cards to put for my rehabs, to pay for my contractors, to then once I'm either gonna refinance or sell those properties, I then have the money to pay back those cards. And a great way, the way I like to see it is I then have met the sign up bonus, right? A lot of these cards require you to spend an X amount of money in a certain period of time, which is usually like 3 months. And I meet those sign up bonuses. And then what I do at the conclusion of either renting those properties, those units out, or selling the property, I give myself a pat on the back, or I celebrate it by going booking a trip because I already have the points there. And so travel hacking is another part of it that I've been able to also learn and escalate on, and kind of again
Mhm.
rewarding myself for the work that I did. And it's pretty awesome using those points to travel and not having to spend money on hotels, on flights. It's a whole nother world that I learned again because I started within real estate, and I surrounded myself with the right people, people that were doing the same things. And by joining a community, I just continue networking, right? Because what you put into the community is what you're gonna get out. And so that's when I learned the whole credit card world. And I'm like, okay, this is how you properly leverage credit and the bank's money to your advantage.
Yeah, and what's cool is that you're using the flips, you're using the real estate that it's making you income, right? At the end of the day, once you sell it, or if you refinance, you get your money back, you pay whatever investors or the credit cards, and now you have an asset. But what's really cool is that using real estate and the rehabs, the flipping, all that stuff, you're using it to also create a bigger life from that perspective, and being able to enjoy life and have the credit card points pay for it. So
That's correct.
that's a really good strategy that not many real estate investors like think about. This is like, hey, I do one flip, and that flip, not only does it pay me, but it's going to get me to take trips. Maybe you can go to Europe or South America, whatever, right? At the end of the day, you can use those points, get hotels and everything. So that's been pretty cool. It's really cool to see all of the aspects of the benefits of what people call using OPM within real estate. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's awesome. And so now, what is next for you?
Yeah, man. So for me, it's continuing to scale. For me, yeah, I'm starting to reach that level with my I'm maxing out my debt to income, which I notice is it's very common with a lot of individuals that still leverage a W-2. So now I'm looking at ways to continue diving deeper into finding some good distressed properties that I could continue
Mhm.
doing another fix and flip, or do another burr project, well, my first Spur project, to refinance
Mhm.
that property. Um, but then also looking at other creative ways of getting properties. And so, I've been building up my portfolio. Um, and so now I want to be able to show people what I've been doing. and get into also the multifamily space. The multifamily
Hmm.
space is something, an area that uh, I'm not too familiar with. I haven't, at the most I've done is fourplexes and under. So now I think it'll be a nice pivot to get into the multifamily space, get better at raising
Yeah,
capital, work with individuals that have self-directed IRAs. There's a whole nother world that I've learned through the community of what self-directed IRAs, and that was pretty mind-blowing. And so, right now
right.
I'm looking to acquire another property with the debt to income that I have, with the leverage of the W-2, but then now also gonna pivot into bigger projects with all the experience I've obtained so far.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I know that you're in the New York area, and you've been meeting other people like face to face too. So one of the cool parts about the community is not just uh it's not just about the like just online on Zoom, right? But when you join communities like this, you're also able to connect with other people within the community that are in your areas. So it's been really cool to have seen you also grow those relationships, meeting face to face, and continue like when you travel, you see other people too. So that's awesome.
Yeah, man, I think that's the
Cool.
beauty of the community as well. Meet other people that you either talk through on Instagram, you meet every week on Zoom, on the Slack channels, on the school app. I think it becomes it's always great to put a face to a name, and you already have that mindset with everybody in the community. You know that they're thinking the same. They're doing their projects in whatever area they're located. It's always great to meet them in person. And yeah, and it's crazy, man. I now have friends spread out throughout the country, and it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, John, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for doing this for us, and you've been a great asset to the community. So we'll continue helping you on your journey.
Hey, man, I gotta thank you, man. You've been a big help, uh, and also serve as a big inspiration. I think so. Definitely, man. I really appreciate being on part of the community for sure.
Awesome. Thank you, John. Take care.
Thanks, man.